everyone, thanks for tuning in to the AFV factory. So I thought I'd give you the first part of probably a two-part build review on this Amusing Hobbies Tiger P. Now that I've completed the construction for the chassis, it's a good place to have a look and see what I've been doing and what I like about it and what I possibly don't. So I think I probably said this before, but it's my first full interior kit that I've done. So there was part of me was excited about doing it, and another part not so, because I anticipated, a lot of bits going in, a lot of sub assemblies. I did have a Mini Art T55 that had a full interior, and I opened the box on several occasions planning to start it, and just the volume of bits that were in there, parts that were in there, I just closed the box up, and I've now subsequently moved that on to someone who would be able to do a better job than I would have ever been able to do. So yeah, so with regard to that, I don't know whether this is a policy of Amusing Hobby, but they've just, from what I can tell, really simplified the process of putting an interior into this chassis without missing out on detail. I think you get an awful lot of manufacturers these days that think the bigger the parts number, the better the kit is, and I don't believe that. I don't think that that's necessarily true, and I think this kit here is a good indicator of how that isn't correct, because they haven't gone wild, as I've just said, with the parts count. They've just made some clever decisions, and where they can, they've got away with just molded on detail, and yeah, I'm happy about that for sure. So it's, when I say it's complete, you'll notice there's some pin marks there for other stuff to go on. I haven't put any of the exterior stuff on there, so tow cables, tools, etc. And also the rear deck here is missing some louvers and some mesh, because I was humming and hawing about whether I was going to leave it clear or not, and if I was, then the other exterior bits would have to be painted before they were stuck onto the clear. But I think I'm gonna just I'm gonna paint this completely and just have the top of the hull removable so that you can see what's inside. Most of this, probably 95% of this, is all dry fitted. I'll just pop the top off. Yeah, so the two engines aren't fully glued together. They can come apart so that I can get in there and paint. And as I say, everything else, the electric motors, the two generators, all the bits in the floor there, the ammo storage there isn't glued in. And somewhere I have got a pot with the other bits that would go in there, obviously ammunition racks and that sort of stuff. But on the whole, with the exception of the ammo racks, you can see what that's like in there. Batteries are down underneath this floor here, and yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I mean, I can't really find a fault with it. There was some quite might be a bit of a strong word. There were some ejector pin marks here and along the other side that had to be dealt with, either by sanding them or filling and sanding. But to my mind, that's just part of being a modeler and making models. Otherwise we wouldn't have any tools, and we wouldn't need sanding sticks and filler, etc., etc. So that's not to the detriment of the kit for that to be that way. So yeah, my next plan is to put this to one side, and I will be building the turret. Having now done this, I don't anticipate the turret to be too much of a long-winded job. Yeah, as I said, this went together so quickly. I'm expecting the turret to do the same. Probably a bit more fiddly in there with, especially when the gun breech is in, and the chairs and radios and all the other bits. The turret basket goes in there, so be a bit more congested in there. But other than that, I can't see there's going to be any problems. While we're on the subject of interiors, it has been pointed out to me that this layout of this chassis is, well, to put it harshly, completely fictional, is what I've been told, because there was no evidence of this setup for this tank. So a lot of people, no, that's not, a few people that are what's the word I'm looking for? I think they like to find fault with things. If you go looking for fault, you're going to find it in whatever, and have said that, you know, this isn't how it would have been set up, or it's incorrect, and therefore, you know, they will dismiss the kit out of hand because of that. And, you know, you've got to make up your own mind, and obviously all I can tell you is what I found. And, you know, I would never mislead anybody. I've said this before, you know, I would be mortified if someone bought something on a recommendation I'd given and it wasn't, you know, my recommendation was bad. So I feel I have to include the fact that what you're looking at might not be how it was in real life. If that type of thing is something that you're concerned about, then, you know, maybe this isn't the kit for you, or maybe buy the kit without the interior and just enjoy it as a an exterior kit. From my perspective, you know, I just don't care about that. It looks great, the engines look great. As it's gone together, the more and more I've liked the look of this setup. And, you know, if it is wrong, then it's wrong, but that's not going to concern me. I think probably stemming from a lot of builds that I do are what ifs and paper panzers. You know, I'm not so much a stickler for historical accuracy, and at the end of the day, you can turn around and say, well, this isn't right, but, you know, it's got just as much chance of being right as it is of being wrong. So, you know, who's to say at the end of the day? But I just thought I would mention that so that you've got that information. So on what you see there, let me just push it out of the way, but what you see there, I mean, I can't really fault it because nothing has gone wrong. It's needed a bit of modelling work, but otherwise it's gone together in nice little easy sections that then also can all come out. As I said, 95% of this is just dry fitted so that I can easily paint it. But there are a few issues, as quite often there are with these things. There's no such thing as a perfect kit. I don't care who the manufacturer is. And the issues that I've come across are related to the suspension and the road wheels. So we've got the suspension bodies here. So there is, some are better than others. There's some lateral play in these. No, it's a loose fit, and that's not particularly a great complaint on its own, The other issue that's a bit more annoying is that these little, whatever you want to call them, stub axles, aren't big enough for the wheel, and so you tend to get a poor fitting wheel. So if you combine, I can't speak tonight, sorry. If you combine the slack that you've got with the wheel in conjunction with what's going on with the suspension, you've got quite a wayward wheel assembly going on, especially if you're going to be trying to use the kit tracks and trying to sort of articulate them. The whole reason why these all move, obviously, is so that you can articulate your tracks should you wish to. You're suddenly trying to line up tracks with wheels that they've got a lot of play in them. So yeah, it was a shame if they just made those tolerances on those wheels a bit tighter. That wouldn't have been an issue. You know, the movement in the suspension unit is such that if that was the only bit of movement, I don't think that there'd have been any problem at all. But it is just that. Now I have swapped the tracks over. I've spoken about the tracks before, and I've got some of the T-Rex Studio tracks to go on here. So I will be just gluing the wheels onto those stubs and onto the lower chassis, and making sure everything is dead straight and glued into place before I start to apply the tracks. So it's one of those things that care, if anything, if nothing else, a little bit of care needs to be taken with them to make sure that you decide how you're going to have these running, how you're going to have this running gear set up, what tracks you're going to use, and you know, you're going to have to spend a little bit of time to be careful with wheels, which often is the case anyway. You know, you can very easily, if you're not careful, get wheels that are all out of alignment. So not the end of the world with these, but it's just something I thought I ought to point out, that is, you know, something that can be a bit of an annoying, or something that could have been quite easily rectified had those tolerances been better. So yeah, there's not a lot more to say at this point. I've got loads going on the bench. The low is almost finished. The Horai 2 is ready for paint. The M247, the Sergeant York, is ready for paint. I'd like to think that I could get the turret on this finished for by the end of the year, and then what I'll do is I'll do a second review on the turret, and then that will be it. You'll have all the information that I've am able to impart about the kit, and then it will go on for me to paint it in that. But that's, you know, that's on me rather than being on Amusing Hobbies. So yeah, so appreciate you tuning in as always, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care.